Okay, so I had said before that the introduction was done. We're just kind of doing a certain order in the beginning, and it'll take more than a good handful of videos to get past the introduction. But algebra in all statistics classes, as I said, algebra has basically nothing to do with it. But we just have to do things as they come. So there's a little bit of an algebra review. Everything here can be done on the calculator, but we're just going to fly through this for a fun little video. This is just some of the most basics of algebra. The square root of 256, how do we do that? Well, we do it on a calculator. We don't care about anything else. But if we want, we do recall the factor tree. It doesn't matter. We're not supposed to write 16, 16 because we automatically know the answer is 16. Maybe we don't know that. What do we write? We can write like a 2 and a 128. I don't know if that's any easier, but we can write a 2 and a 64, and then most people know 8 and 8. But remember, if there's a pair with the factor tree, it jumps out as 1. So two 2's jump out as a 2, two 8's jump out as an 8. And then we don't care about this. Technically, there's a square root of 1 left in there. I'm just flying through this for fun, but the square root of 1 is just 1. Yeah, so it equals 16 is the answer. Okay, so everybody knows how to turn a decimal into a percent. This is just basically whether or not you're dumb. Hopefully that wasn't mean. But so 2 places, and now it is a percent. And turn a decimal to a percent, turn a percent to a decimal. You just left and right, you carry the decimal 2 places where percent is always bigger than the decimal. Yeah. So this is much harder here. So we do want to kind of know. So if you have a TI-84, yeah, it's all very similar to TI-84, TI-83. TI-84 is much more common and preferred. And then you used to have the TI-89, which was way complicated, which thankfully you don't see as much anymore. TI-89, much better calculator, but confuses everybody. But nowadays you have the TI Inspire, which is really good. But the middle ground and the most common is the TI-84. If you have any decimal, you can have a crazy long decimal, much harder than that. If you have a crazy decimal, it won't work. But if you have any basic medium decimal, it does work. If you do the math button, just the math button, and enter twice, math button, enter twice, it will turn a decimal into a fraction. So if you ever need a decimal, a somewhat friendly decimal into a fraction, TI-84, put in your decimal, math button, enter twice. That is actually kind of one of the all-stars here, so we do want to know that. But you never have to turn a decimal into a fraction by hand, but can we do that? Of course we can. If we have 0.54, we have that over 1, multiply top and bottom by 100, which you're allowed to do because 100 divided by 100 just equals 1. So we just multiplied it by 1. And multiply top and bottom by 10, by 100, by 1,000. What do? You multiply it by as many places, as many zeros is you have to move the decimal. The decimal has to be moved 2 places, so we have to multiply top and bottom by a 1 with 2 zeros. Top and bottom, top and bottom by 100. We get 54 over 100, and then we just reduce the fraction as much as we can, and we get the answer. Okay, so yeah, 0.59, move the decimal 2 places. Okay, so remember some of the most basic math, I make a few jokes and I make fun a little bit. It's not a tipping calculator and all that, but some of the most basic math we really, really want to know through life. About 90 to 100% of the time, whenever there's of, it does mean multiplication. But take the percent of something, the crazy algebra that comes later. If we don't know that, it's fine. But take the percentage of something should be second nature in life. If you take 38% of 7, it's going to be, we can never have it in blah, blah, blah. We can never have it in percent. We have to have it in decimal. Yeah, but you always just multiply them. To take 38% of 7, it's 0.38 times 7 uh, is going to equal 2.66. So just remember, 38% of 7 is 0.38 times 7. Okay, so reducing a fraction, if we have 2 over 50 equals 2 times 1 over 50. We factor top and bottom, 2 times 1 over 2 times 25. The 2's cancel, and it's 1 over 25. We're not going to, it's just a fun exercise. We're not going to go in depth because, you know, it takes a whole nother class to learn factor and reduce, but we're supposed to be able to factor and reduce fractions. That's just, you know, do it in the calculator, who cares? So this is good. This is very important. There's just a few things, like 3 or 4 problems from this thing, which are very important because 2 things are important, at least 2. This symbol right there is very important, and understanding how to do this in a list is very important. But being able to manage your lists in the TI-84, being able to manage your lists in the TI-84, that's a very important thing. If you ever want to add stuff, I agree, just add it. You know, Derek, why do you make it complicated? Just add it. Well, you can add it, but we want to kind of get used to doing stuff in a list. And it's not going to save time, but it's a better exercise, and I guarantee you it's more or less equal time. In other words, it's not going to be more time consuming. So this is what we actually want to do. First of all, this symbol, the sum of, always means you have a column. It always means you have a column, and it just means find the sum of that symbol. Much later in the class, there's going to be like sum xy, because you have an x column, you have a y column, you multiply straight across to make an xy, you add that column, then you have the sum of xy. But that sum of x just means sum the x column, that's all it means. So this is what we want to do if we've never done this before. These are specific buttons on the TI-84. We're going to do something called one var stat. What we're doing in the end, we're trying to do this thing called one var stat on the TI-84. Yeah. So we want a list. We have to press the stat button right in the middle of our thing. And we have to press enter on edit, but we're already where we want to be. We have edit highlighted, and it's 1, and it says edit. We don't need to select any of this. It's already there. So we literally press enter is what we press. And then we have our lists. We have to learn pretty quick how to clear a list. If we've literally never done this before, we don't have to clear a list. But we have like L1 in a little pocket, and then we have pockets. Remember, we have a little arrow on the right where we can scroll up. We have to scroll up such that L1, let's see if I can erase it, L1 has to be highlighted. So you have to scroll up into and highlight the little L1. Yeah. If we scroll up and we highlight L1, so clear list is just going to be clear button, enter, those 2 buttons. If we go up into the list and we highlight and we press clear, enter, then the list will be cleared. So we have to clear the list, yeah. And then this part is pretty self-explanatory. I'm always way too descriptive. But basically, we have to be able to get to our L1 and manage that. And then you type everything in there. You type in your list, yeah. So what we do is after you type in the list, to ever go back to the main screen, it's quit. It's to go back to the main screen, it's going to be second mode, and that will go back to the main screen. Yeah, second mode is actually quit. It's quit to go back to the main screen, but it's second mode. So then once again, we want to do stat. And then we want to scroll over to the right to calculate. Oh, that's right. And then we just want to do enter on one var stat. It's the first one. So I'm squeezing all this in a page, but we can usually basically know. And then we have to put L1 in there, or whichever list we typed in all of our stuff. Now remember, I didn't write this. This is like a side note right in the middle of the page because it's all we have. Yeah. So we have a 1 button, which has an L1. We have a 2 button, which has an L2. We have a 3 button, which has an L3. Anytime you have a little blue or yellow or whatever it is writing above it, it means second. So if you do second 1, it's L1. If you do second 2, it's L2. Yeah, but you have to input L1 into the 1 bar stat, which is second 1. Yeah. And then you go down to calculate and do that. I'm just going to stop writing directions because who cares? If we ever get little error, it's because I'm getting an error on my side, but it's just because I'm not paying attention here. What the heck? I don't have my values. Okay, so we do that, and we have the little summation symbol. Don't mix it up with X bar or something. We have this little sum X, and that's going to give you the sum column. So it's 59. Okay, so watch out now, as if we'd make rounding an exercise. So we're just having fun here. We're so very used to hearing the tenths, a th tenths, yeah, hundredths, and it doesn't go much beyond thousands. I can't even write this stuff. Hundredths, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, yeah. Okay, so we're so used to that. This is, I think, I forget, it never comes up. This is the ones place. So just be very careful. If they say the tens without a th, remember, all the stuff to the left of the decimal does not have a th. If they say the tens, they're actually talking about that. So when they say round this thing to the tens place, it's not the tenths, it's the tens place, which is that 8, I think, becomes a 9. Yeah, so I think I have it correct there. I just don't take this stuff seriously, so everybody, including me, doesn't always get 100. I like doing math. I hate reading, so if we miss like a direction, it's who cares. That's just asking us if we understand what they're saying there. I get 8. No, I don't. I get 9 minus 7 equals 2. So they can ask us some of these questions here. Yeah, I'm literally just seeing 2001. Let's see if I have this right here, because they're going to ask us a bunch of specific stuff when we read a chart. But I see a 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so they have 2001, but this starts at a 0. This one starts at like a 2. This one starts at a 4, so they mess with us. Now they're going to do it. You can, I'll leave it to you to read B. If you guys want to read B, that's fine, but obviously the numbers are decreasing from left to right. But if we see this thing, the amount of decrease is an even amount. It's like a perfect straight line. So what is the even amount of decrease? It's the slope of a y equals mx plus b. Yeah, but the numbers are decreasing as time goes on, but the decrease per year, if we can see that, is equal. So decreases, but then they say, did the annual change, blah, 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 stayed the same for me is just, we'll see if I get that right. I'm not sure. That just means the amount for which it decreased was the same every year. C. Yeah, so this is a fun problem. So we can say that it is an algebra rule that the square root can go up top and down below. And then that's 10 over what? That is a 14 squared. 196 is 14 squared. Yeah. And then it's factor and reduce, a 2 times 5, a 2 and a 7. The 2's are gone. I get a 5 over 7. So who cares about that? Just do it in the calculator. It is kind of sort of order of operations from like grade school, but once it becomes more algebra, in fact, yeah, the way that they have it written, it is exactly order of operations. Most that rings in our head is addition, subtraction, left to right, multiplication, division, left to right. But remember, grouping symbol, and you can say PEMDAS or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. God, I really shouldn't write that. That would just be pathetic. PEMDAS, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I'm not going to review order of operations, but all I'm getting at is that we do the 60 divided by 6 is 2 to the 4 times 5 minus 10, 248, 248, 16. So whenever I multiply by 5, 16, this is kind of nifty. It's one of our few small tricks. Whenever I multiply by 5 in my head, I multiply by 10 and divide by 2. So multiply by 10 means we can put a 0, but 16 times 5 is 160 divided by 2, which is 80. I see, what do I see? Read this. I would never read anything like that. I see 57 over 133 is approximately 0.43. Okay, so plot this right here. Can we plot that guy? We have to figure out how to do this. So negative 0.2, negative 2.4. Negative 0.2 is 1/5. If I don't take this too serious, I could get it wrong. Yeah, that is it right there. But 1/5 is 0.2. Yeah, 0.4 is 2 of them, so I don't pay attention. Yeah, negative 0.2. Negative 2.2, 2.4. Okay, that's fine. So that's complete. Oh, totally messing with us there. Anything divided by itself is 1. So okay, so I like algebra, but it's not like that. They're having this plug-in, which is fine. What do they want there? 1 minus 7 over 4 minus 2. Ten hundreds, thousands with a TH. So I always do factor and reduce. I see a 75 divided by 25. I see a 25 times 3 over 25. 25's cancel. I see 3. So it's included in the class, so I wanted to do it, but it is 100%, and I will see everybody in the next video.